I know you wrote an article for BrownsWire.com kind of predicting the wide receiver room statistically. Take us through that, and you've got actually Elijah Moore leading it in receptions, Amari Cooper leading it in yards. So take us through that, your thought process with that article.
Yeah, so the one thing I started with was Deshaun Watson's statistics in terms of pass attempts and completions from 2020, in which he completed 382 passes. So best case scenario, you get that version of Deshaun Watson, you're probably getting 382 receptions spread across. I subtracted a little bit so for the tight end room, and then I kind of applied it through there. I think that the volume of Elijah Moore ends up being more receptions, but I think you're going to get a lot of those like swing passes and him in the backfield catching it out of the back, screen passes and in kind of some smaller routes in terms of yards run before the reception. So I think that you could end up seeing him have a little bit smaller of an average than Amari Cooper, where I think Amari Cooper will continue to really attack the middle of the field, those intermediate throws, and kind of get just a higher yards per catch average is where those numbers came through. But I did have both the top two going for 1,000 yards, and Donovan Peoples-Jones not far behind him at 700. And if you add all of those numbers up and give about 1,000 yards to the tight end room, that gives Watson about 4,500 yards, which is still under what he had in 2020. And so you're looking at a situation where they're going to throw the ball a ton, and they're going to spread it all around. And even if Marquise Goodwin's not there, I think you're going to see David Bell and Cedric Tillman both with 300 to 400 yards at the back end of this room, and just top to bottom 1 through 5. I think they have really talented pass catchers with very differing skill sets. Like there's the fast guys, there's the intermediate guys, the technicians like Amari Cooper, and they can just attack a defense in every different way. And I just think that it's just really well put together top to bottom. I think if Watson bounces back, you're going to see several wide receivers flirt with 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and you had Moore with 11 touchdowns and Cooper with 8, Peoples-Jones with 4, 3 for Bell and Tillman. So, again, if Elijah Moore has that kind of year, this offense is going to be really tough to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I even threw in there 150 rushing yards for him and a couple of touchdowns, just because I think that we're going to see these jet sweeps, and he's going to sometimes line up as just a straight up running back and get some of those carries that give a blow to Nick Chubb, especially with the kind of the unprovenness of the running back room behind Nick Chubb. So I think you could see that obviously supplemented by Elijah Moore. But if you get 2,000-yard wide receivers, yeah, you're having a pretty good year. And I saw someone, I believe it was Kyle Brandt, I believe on NFL Network on Good Morning Football. Yeah, he said, hey, they could be the number one offense. If Deshaun Watson bounces back and you look at these kind of numbers, that's number one offense numbers. I think they really have a chance to be prolific.
Yeah, Jason McCourty also on that show was saying that they could be as well.